What up, guys? Dreadshells here, and welcome back to World of Tanks. And I bet you weren't expecting to see this kind of a video today. I was sitting down, planning on playing a few games and some scouts, and I was thinking to myself, I'm feeling kind of nostalgic today, so I was looking through some old replays and trying to find something interesting to look at, and I found this game in my ISU-152 on Tundra. Now, this isn't the Tundra that you all might be familiar with. This particular game was played way back in the Stone Age of 8.10, I believe is when this was. So that's almost 2 years ago, and a lot has changed about World of Tanks since then, of course, as far as map rotations and map design, map changes, graphics changes, mechanics changes, and also a lot of new vehicles have been added to the game since this battle was played. And it's just really interesting to look back in hindsight and look at my play style as and how I've progressed as a player, how I've learned how to play better. Now, when I originally ground through the ISU, this particular game is when I was still hadn't unlocked the 704 yet, so I was still playing this tank for the very first time. But when I originally unlocked the ISU-152 from the SU-152, I kept the 152mm howitzer on it. I didn't go with the 122mm option that you can have on this tank when you first unlock it. I just found that the pen on the 122mm was just too unreliable, and the derp gun is not, of course, effective at another higher tier than it is on the tier 7 SU-152, but it was adequate enough to make the grind from the tier 7 to the tier 8 tank destroyer not that painful, to be honest. You just load up HE and just spam it, and you're always guaranteed to do 300 or 400 damage, and you might get some luckier high rolls if you hit some soft spots on certain tanks' armor. Now you can see that this particular version of Tundra is the original. This is the original Tundra before anything was changed about this map. The southwest corner was changed a lot. It used to be just basically a giant swamp ground. If you've ever gone down there in the live version of this map, you'll know that there's some soft terrain and shallow water and everything. That area of the map was all like that all the way up to the F line. So this map has changed significantly and basically added the corridor on the one line, of course, and the small village area there where that T-34 is now a raised platform, kind of more on the F2 and G2 areas now on the live server. And I'm kind of curious on what your guys' thoughts are about how the game has changed over the last few years. What things you like about the changes, what you think have been improvements to the game that make it more streamlined, more enjoyable, and what things that you don't think have been the best ideas. Me personally, my biggest pet peeve that I haven't liked over this long period of time is the map design in World of Tanks. I've been noticing a trend where it seems to be a little bit lopsided, whatever it happens to be. It either goes through some sort of phases of meta where it favors certain tanks in certain tank classes. I kind of am a proponent more of designing maps where there's a little bit of something for every tank class, kind of like Lakeville, kind of like Fisherman's Bay. although Fisherman's Bay is not the ideal map. I think the 1-2 lines can be redesigned a little bit better to make that area more playable on Fisherman's Bay. But you notice quite a few maps seem to go through this cycle of where people get frustrated, where when they're trying to advance and take over more territory on the map and more square area, and then they get blown away because they don't understand the sniper lanes or the vision lanes, or the map simply was not designed well to create an option to go around those vision lanes. And what they end up doing to the design of these maps, like, say, for instance, Severgorsk, which got removed, and Northwest, which got removed, is they basically make a bunch of corridors and lanes and valleys where most of the engagements, or even the first time you see an enemy, is when they're really, really close to you, which makes it really difficult for people to make good tactical decisions. Not even just for scout tanks. It affects all players on the team. It's really helpful when a medium or a scout tank, or even certain heavies, anybody in the correct position to spot enemy tanks initially in their initial deployment, to help people make better decisions on how to react to the enemy team movement. Also, I'm a pretty big proponent in map design where not only is there a little bit of something for everyone, but also where basically you have two options, and if you make the wrong choice, you'll pay the consequence, either in losing HP from being in a sniper lane, or dying. A really good example would be Lakeville. Now, I think that Lakeville can be reworked a little bit, but quite honestly, I don't think there's that much wrong with the map that people think it is. I think that the playable, drivable area on the very north and south areas of Lakeville, say on the A line and the K line, can be made more passable. But Lakeville is a really good example where basically you have two options, right? You can take the quick route into the town, in which you risk yourself being spotted and smoked by sniper fire from the middle road, or you can hug the very edge of the map and not risk getting spotted at all, and it will take you longer to get into the city, but you won't be as high risk from taking sniper fire. That's just an example of vision. You could do that with sniper lanes and with brawling lanes and corners and stuff. Basically, I like layers of mechanics in whatever game I play, where if a player makes a bad choice, then he usually, yeah, of course, in this game there's RNG, of course. But if a player makes a bad choice, he'll pay the consequences for it, and if he makes a good choice, then he'll be rewarded for it. Of course, there's 15 players on 15 players, so there's 29 other people in the battle besides you that are affecting the outcome of the battle. But as far as your choice is concerned, you made the best choice, right? I don't like map designs where it's basically all one way, right? And this is something that seems to be a common theme in the recent wargaming map designs. So just a little bit of something to chew on there. I like that there's been more focus on heavies. I think they were neglected for quite a long time. Well, I would say about 2 years, a year and a half. But finally, they got back into the limelight with the buffs to certain individual tanks, and also a shift in map design to favor closer brawling. But I think that the maps became too specialized, and hinders the options of other tank classes in general, and it really affects lopsided outcomes in games where a particular team may have more of one particular tank class than the other. Say, for instance, one team might have a lot of heavies, and the other team might have a lot of tank destroyers, and the tank destroyers don't have anywhere to go, really. I mean, there's a spot or two, but there isn't really a good way to set up sniper lanes or crossfire, and the enemy team wins easily because all the engagements at point blank range, and they can just out brawl them and out HP them, and that's kind of something else that I would like to see balanced a little bit more in the Matchmaker, where they balance the allocation of the number of tank classes per side better. Would also help to alleviate some of the lopsided victories and losses that happen in random battles. Of course, everyone blames Matchmaker for lopsided wins and losses anyway, but not all that is due to the tiering or the tank allocation or the map. I've seen games where there's almost exactly the same number of tank comps on each side, and basically the one team steamrolls the other because the one team just made better choices overall, and it stacks exponentially, kind of like a domino effect, where after the first one or two guys die and you take over the area of the map that those enemy tanks were originally occupying, you get more and more angles of attack on the enemy, and if the enemy are very passive, then it just steamrolls, and that's how you get a lot of the lopsided wins or losses in World of Tanks. Now, coming back to the game here, it's kind of funny once again watching me play here. I'm seeing all kinds of mistakes that I've made. A lot of you might have been asking why I didn't shoot through that truck if you're newer to the game. Originally, you weren't able to actually shoot through soft cover like this, like the logs and destructible houses and stuff. That's a change that they made a while back to when you can actually shoot through these kind of things. But originally, you weren't able to shoot through that, so that is why I'm not shooting at this AT-8 currently. Because this shanty, this little shack in front of me, would eat the shell, and my shot would not pass through it. And this, I remember when I was looking through my replays and I found this game, I was like, oh my gosh, I remember this game. And I remember it in particular because this game was my very first ever Khmelevsky medal. Spoiler. You guys might have thought to hear that the AT-8 might have killed me, but nope, I am gonna kill him here. And I get lucky there with a high roll. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video and taking a trip down memory lane with this old game of mine from a couple years back. And also taking the opportunity to talk about a couple things that I have opinions about for World of Tanks as a whole. I'm curious, once again, I would love to hear your guys' feedback in the comments of this video about what you guys have liked over the long term, what has changed about World of Tanks. It might be a certain mechanic, certain map introductions or designs or changes. It might be certain vehicles that you guys enjoy playing that they've introduced. Just let me know. For me personally, the ISU-152 was one of the tanks that kept me playing World of Tanks past the few thousand battle mark. A couple of the other tanks were the AT-7, the Tier 7 British tank destroyer. This was way back before there was a lot of power creep, and a lot of other vehicles at Tier 7 and Tier 8 were introduced, where it kind of made the AT-7 not as powerful, as well as nerfing the sniper lanes on a lot of the maps. And also, believe it or not, another tank that kept me playing World of Tanks was the VK 3001P, the Tier 6 German medium. This was back during the same time when the VK3601H, which is currently a Tier 6 Heavy for the Germans, used to be a Tier 6 Medium. And it was a really powerful tank because it was pretty mobile, and the Konish gun on it was very strong, and everyone used that tank alongside the KV-1S, which is now the KV-85, in Tier 6 tank companies, and those were very powerful tanks. But I always preferred playing the VK3001P because I just liked the mobility, and the armor was good enough to balance a shot here and there. So yeah, I would love to hear once again your guys' experiences over the last couple of years if you've been playing World of Tanks that long, and mention some of the things that you like the most overall and some things that you might not like so much. Thank you so much for watching this video, and happy hunting.